All right, I am here with the sorcerer Patrick Giguere. He's one of my advanced students in the Mao Shan spirit fighting practices, and he's also a very accomplished traditional Chinese medicine practitioner and acupuncturist. I don't know what else words you would use. Um,
That's it.
And so in this video, especially what I want to do is I want to focus on a discovery that I made a while back when I was reverse engineering. What was it about the Maoshan spirit fighting that made it so different? Because every other art out there, Bagua, Xingyi, all the other internal arts, there was just such a huge difference in the not only the quality of the energy, but the effectiveness of the art. For instance, when Tai Chi, when you're up against a Tai Chi practitioner who's good, they have the ability to use their chi to push you away. You'll see people go flying back feet, because these people have so much chi energy. The spirit fighting energy, on the other hand, it goes right through the person. So it's like watching somebody. If you look at those old um, films of D-Day, the guys that are getting shot, they're just falling. They're not going flying back because they got hit with a bullet. They're just to their, dropping to the ground. And this is what happens with the spirit fighting. The energy is so powerful, it goes right through the person and they just drop. And so I wanted to figure out what was so different. And again, that's just the martial arts application. The energy and the meditative application, of course, is not is not violent. But the energy is definitely different. And this was a long time ago, and I'm not smart enough to know what the hell I'm looking at, but I found a video of some Chinese woman talking about the Shin, which is where I we've discovered this is where the energy comes from. It's not coming from qi, although we use qi. It's not coming directly from qi in the navel. It's coming from the Shin energy in the heart. And I found that she was pointing out the different parts of the hand where all the five elements were. And I was looking and going, those are exactly the parts of the hand that we use in each element as she's describing: wood, metal, fire, water, earth. And I knew that these five element practices had been channeled by the Grand Master, who's no longer alive. And I knew enough about him to know that he didn't know any of this. He didn't know all the specific points. He didn't know TCM. He was just a Qigong, Tai Chi, and Mao Shan practitioner. And he channeled these, he made these up. And it was interesting because the people that were at the same time as him, they kind of poo-pooed what he did because, oh yeah, we don't do that. He made that up later. I do the older stuff. And I know for a fact that these five elements are among the most powerful things I've ever done. And you do them and it actually stimulates and heals all the organs and everything that you would get from doing any other kind of working on the five elements. Like it's really like laser pointed precise. And so when I saw that, I realized that there's no way he could have made it up, that this was transmitted by higher dimensional beings. So the reason why I'm talking with you, my friend, is because you are educated in all this stuff. And I thought it would be interesting to talk about the points for the shin, for the five elements, and where they are on the hands. And, we'll just see where it goes from there. But I wanted people to understand how unique and how special this art is, especially these five elements. So that's my opening salvo.
Cool.
Do you have, what would you like to chime in terms of?
Yeah, real quick, just a little background about this heart protector,
Please.
this Shin Bao. So before in the years before I found your channel in 2017, and I've been in on these practices since, no looking back and all that kind of thing. I graduated from acupuncture school in 2012, so there was a 5 year interim there. And so, when you go to acupuncture school, most of the schools teach this TCM, which, we spoke about it in an earlier video, and it was a reconstruction by the Chinese Communist Party, and they minimized the role of the spiritual dimension. So just the way I am, with like, you know, retrograde Jupiter and all that stuff, it's like, well, I want the old stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's always the way it is in history. It's like in the old days they're advanced, and then we come down to modern times, and it's like it gets ignorant as time goes on. So
Yeah.
I had
It's been watered down, just basic, yeah, cotton candy so people can eat it and understand it in half a second.
yeah. So I had this 5 years to look into this stuff, and even in school, I was like, well, what's the old sources say? So I started hearing things in school. Well, this heart protector that they call the pericardium is like so much more. So when you learn in acupuncture school, this heart protector, they call it the pericardium. And in English, the pericardium is just it's fascia. It's a sac of connective tissue that surrounds the heart. Plays an important role, but that's about all it does. So I'm gonna pull the document up on the screen
Oh, great. You're smart enough
real
to do that. I'm
real
not.
quick.
All right. Let's see. It's asking me, so I will allow. All right.
Okay, cool. All right, nicely done. Okay, there's the Word document. So, yeah. So I just, so yeah, functions of the heart protector, aka shin bao, aka pericardium. Um, all these things here. It governs the blood, controls the blood vessels. Very, pretty much identical to the roles and functions of the heart. Manifest in the complexion. So when you have your complexion's pale, it's like your heart energy is either depleted or it's just not moving as normal as designed. Houses the mind, houses the Shen. Well, we've got some Russian dolls here.
Yeah, we should too. Yeah. I'm biting my tongue. I'm
Yeah,
saying anything yet.
yeah. Because the heart, the vulnerable little heart's got the Shen in there, but then it's got a much more robust,
Yeah.
larger doll outside of it. Um, Connects to joy. That's all fire element. Opens into the tongue. So an interesting, I don't want to go off and too big of a tangent. All of the internal organs are connected to sense organs in this
Wow.
medicine. Now in embryology, the first organ to develop is the heart. The second structure to develop is the tongue. The tongue actually sprouts
Wow.
out of the heart.
Wow.
And then eyeballs sprout out of the liver and ears sprout
Wow.
out of kidneys, and it's really wild.
Wow.
It's amazing what they knew. Controls sweat. Sweat gets the ammonia out of your system, all the toxins, protects the heart. Biggest thing you're always talking about. Some of these, let me see, yeah, invigorates and cools the blood, gets the excess heat out off the heart, protecting the heart. Stimulates or calms the mind. Duh, 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 duh. I'm not going to get into this liver thing right now.
Okay.
That's a nerd topic we can get into
Okay.
later, and I'm
Yeah,
all crazy about it.
we can do more videos. We've got a little less than an hour for this one, but I'm totally
Yeah,
open to doing a whole
yeah,
series on this for sure.
yeah. So my motivation in going through that laundry list was to say, okay, so in normal acupuncture school, the heart protector is just this little sac. Well, how does it control all that stuff? If it's just this minor, if it's like a little bag made out of fascia. So there's obviously something bigger going on.
Yeah.
Now, this is the trajectory of this heart protector meridian. It has, let me see here, it has 9 dedicated acupuncture points we can use. So pericardium 1 is just lateral, just to the side of the nipple here. And then you go to 2, and then so 3 through 9 are the heart protector points that are at play when we do these forms.
Yeah.
When we apply this and we start striking. Um, so that's the main channel, but then you've got this dotted line down to the abdomen here. That is one of the alternate trajectories. Well, actually, and it's interesting too, the other dotted, won't zoom in anymore. The other dotted line here goes down to the ring finger to connect to another fire meridian. So you use different points to get onto these secondary trajectories. So now with this one that goes to the abdomen, this is going into what I've learned from you as the lower center where the
Oh,
primordial king lives.
yeah.
So the emotions that live in this lower center are these dwarves, they're paramount to the power of this art, and the little I know of it in just a few years. Um, these emotions are like the powerhouse. So when we get into this older, more advanced idea of what this heart protector is, it's it's connecting these two things, and it's like the what the hell is that? It's the heart leads the mind from the Awakening the Immortals.
Yeah.
Now, when we're pulling in that heart energy and leading it down to the abdomen, you're following this secondary trajectory of this meridian. So it's this huge, yeah, it's this huge structure, living thing. It's not even a structure; it's a living thing in our energy systems. A deity. Um, so yeah, it's a hell of a lot more than what we would normally think it was, I guess is what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah. Okay, let me just jump in here. So,
Yeah.
as I've said many times, and it's important to understand this, I think, is because, again, I learned from martial arts masters who were demon fighters. They were, they weren't into any of this stuff. They knew almost nothing. And this had been handed down. This was it was a family tradition that was handed down. So it wasn't something that had been, you know, uh, turned into a huge school like Shaolin. Shaolin is now this, and people think that's what Kung Fu is. They see Shaolin, they think that's Kung Fu, quote unquote. But there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of family styles, all of them seeking for a secret power that they could have over their enemies. The next village over, if you didn't have something that beat their style, they would come in and take over you and steal your water and steal your land and kill you. That's just what was going on in southern China back then. And especially um, if you were a Hakka, which was the original elites that ruled China, 2,000 years ago, and they got overtaken and they had to go into hiding. And a lot of them went south. And the Hakka means, stranger, basically, means foreigner. And so these guys had to be able to defend themselves. And this is where the Mao Shan came from. The Mao Shan came from the Han, which became the Hakka. So this was all family style stuff. And so I didn't know any of this when I was training. I just knew that it was something secret and you could only learn it by invitation. And so the teacher would just throw out all this stuff that he had heard from his teacher, which he had heard from his teacher, which he had heard from his teacher, right? And so he kept on saying, he talked about the three ones a lot, which, if you go to most other Qigong schools, they're going to talk about the Dantian, the Dantian. They're not going to talk about the other ones, even though they might know, oh, yeah, there's two others, but yeah, yeah. And my teachers kept on focusing on the three dantians. This is what we really focus on. And then he would throw out this phrase that I don't think he understood, and of course I didn't understand it. I thought he was misquoting because he would say, what we're working with," and he touched the three centers, "is we're working with Qi, Shi, and Yi." And he would do that, and he would say that all the time. It was, I don't even really think he knew why he was saying it. And then as I started having to go and study and figure it out and reverse engineer everything, I realized, well, he's got that wrong. It's Jing to Qi to Shen. So I figured that he was just mistaken until I again started trying to figuring out, when I got to the point like, I'm going to master this, and this guy only knows so much, and so I'm going to go learn from a Tai Chi guy, I'm a Bagua guy, a Shen Yi guy, and I'm going to learn what the real stuff is. And they were on a completely different plane. And they would say, this energy you guys are doing, some of them would say, what you're doing is dangerous. It's too dangerous. And some of them would just say, I don't know what you're doing. Or if they felt it, they go, this is the most powerful thing I've ever felt. And then they would be, they would want to become Mao Shan after that. So this she is really important, I came to find out. Now that's before all of this interdimensional CE5 stuff, which started 3 years ago. And I'm coming to find out that this she energy is not just an energy, it's a being, it's a goddess, an incredibly powerful goddess with a personality. That's what the last video came about when I was talking about the intense love of the feminine. And so I don't know, I don't think you mentioned it here, we've touched on it before, but the Shin is a feminine energy, right?
Hmm.
And the Shen is masculine.
Sure.
Right.
Yes.
So when we go Jing to Qi to Shen, we're going a masculine path. When we go to from Qi, Shi to Yi, we're going a feminine path. So we're looking at right in front of us the definition of right hand path versus a left hand path.
Yeah.
And this is left hand path always has this, ooh, be careful, it's too powerful, it's too dangerous. There's some truth to that.
Yeah.
There's some truth to that.
You're
And
not prepared.
the right hand path is slow, and it's deliberate, and you know the rules, and the path is clear in front of you, and you got to build up. You got to build up the chi. You got to build that up, and then when you get old, you have all this power and knowledge, but you're full of yourself. And the left hand path is quick. It's fast and it's super powerful, but you have to face all of your demons, all of your emotional issues immediately. And that can destroy some people. And so our teachers would say, you got to be careful with this because this could turn, it wasn't everybody. It would just be like this combination of somebody who could be turned into a Darth Vader. So they said that Darth Vader stuff is real. So you got to be careful with
Yeah.
that yin. You got to have that balance. Otherwise that yin will go crazy. And then the next thing you know,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm going off on a bunch of tangents here, but um, let's go over, unless you got something you want to say, let's go over each of the five elements and
Sure.
where they are, the shin, because I want to make sure I'm right about this. That within the shin, there's five elements, and along the shin path, there's five elements within the shin as well. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And every element has the five elements within it, and it's a whole
Okay.
crazy, wild thing.
So it's more like a um, holographic projection. Each of them
Mm.
holographically project the five elements from within themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't have that term at the tip of my tongue, so thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at some points then.
Okay. Let's start with wood. So where would that be on the hand in terms of the sets that we're doing?
Sure. So I'll give this a little structure,
Okay.
um, just to give it some context. So the every all of the 12 main acupuncture meridians, they all have five element points. So they all have a wood point, a fire point, an earth point, a metal point, and a water point. All of those points, they're either between the elbow and the fingertips, or they're between the knee and the toes. So when you get to that lower joint, be it the elbow or the knee, that's where the energy runs out of the organ and it gets much more superficial and you have an easier time accessing the energy, whether it's for medicine, for these martial applications, for healing, whatever you want to do with it, it's much more accessible. So on yang channels, those channels will start on the digits. Well, actually, on the hand, they'll start on the digits. It'll start with a metal point. So you'll go from metal to water to wood to fire to earth. And then on yin channels, and we're dealing primarily with arm channels in the scope of this. So yeah, so yang channels. So this, for example, small intestine or the Sanjiao, the triple energizer. So the metal point's going to be at the tip of these digits, and you're going to work your way through the elements till you get to the earth point at the elbow. For the yin channels, like the heart protector channel, let me find a better graphic. Here we go. So for the heart protector channel, the heart protector one is up by the nipple, and then the end of the channel is at the tip of the middle finger. So in the case of these yin channels on the hand, the one near the fingertip will always be the wood point. So yin channels are going to start with wood, and then it's going to move to fire, to earth, to metal, and then to water. And the water point is going to be near the elbow. So that's going to be the basic order and structure we're going to be working with.
Okay, so let's okay zoom out because then I want to put our hands up and see what I'm.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Let me get out of this.
All right, so the tip of the finger. So this is by the way one of the ways that the Mao Shan masters. This was a mudra that they would use to meditate, and I came to realize, oh, he's tapping into the shin. That's all that I knew. So, and he would do it in this form, like you're doing the yin yang. So you'd sit there like that and meditate like this. And I realized, okay, he's tapping into the shin. And so you're saying he's tapping into the wood
So it's going to be the wood point on the heart protector channel.
right here at the end of the. Okay, so that's interesting
Yes.
because in the wood, as you know, it's basically the only one of the sets where we really just have this dead palm that we use, right?
Hmm.
And so when we punch, we're coming straight forward like that, which is to me seems like that's that wood point, just coming straight up back and forth like that. By the way, there's another secret technique, um, which I think I've shared with you guys, but I'd love to know your take on it. If it's a longer subject, we can do it another time. But you can have just the fingers normal, or you can have these two fingers touching. So what happens when these two fingers, if you hold them together, like doing the
Yeah.
wood posture?
You're going to have two fire channels together.
These two fire channels. So this is
Yeah.
connecting fire channels.
Yeah. And then the fire point on the heart protector meridian. So when you make a fist, incidentally, when you make a fist, the wood point of the heart protector and the wood point of the heart touch the fire points on the same channel.
Okay.
So you're creating a feeding loop.
So that's why this, so, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're putting two fire channels together. And these are basically so at this center point here. So this is going to be heart protector 8, where your middle finger touches. That point is a branch. It's like a branch line on like a railroad. So that branches off here and it goes to this point near the corner of the nail on your ring finger. And that's that triple energizer, that Sanjiao channel that moves all the yang energy and all the yuan qi, the original qi in your body. That's a type of qi that the kidneys store and replenish. Um, that basically branches off from there and connects those two.
Interesting.
So yeah, so these are seen as like the fire of the earth. So the earth fire is more yin. The two fire channels on the pinky, that's the fire of heaven. It's the heart, and then its partner, the small intestine.
Okay.
So you're connecting the two fire of earth channels.
So just to let everybody know, by the way, what I call the wood posture, that was somebody else put five elements to those, but they actually weren't originally, that this posture wasn't called the wood posture. But they would say if you want the heavy hand, then you have to stand in that posture with your fingers like that. So you're basically telling me that's tapping into the chi and the earth and the
Yeah,
wood. And so that means that when you strike, you're just gonna have this heavy hand full of energy. It's just gonna
yeah. You mentioned the
feel
fire at the center of the earth. You're basically tapping into that.
okay.
Now, another quick nerd thing. I'll keep this really brief
Okay.
as to why I think you could make a case to call that a wood posture. In
Okay.
the old days, instead of having 12 main acupuncture meridians, you only had six. And so what you would do is you would put a hand channel and a foot channel together to create a whole body channel. So by that reckoning, the heart protector meridian's partner was the liver channel. And that way, instead of being broken up into hand and foot channels, you would have this continuous channel.
Wow.
And so when you were reading out of the book about the three ones and talking about like the six demons, it makes me wonder if those six demons are basically like pathogenic energies and emotions that live in those six
Yeah,
full body meridians.
that was where I was going with that is that, I mean, that is a whole other subject, but
Yeah.
people who think, my experience is that most people who think they have demons don't. But that doesn't mean that they're not being demonically influenced because, actual demons have been like created by somebody's intense emotions to the point where they morph out of the person and it has its own life and it runs around. So that means somebody could have within them their own demon of control or despair or whatever it is, and it's taking over them. It's taking them over. So a lot of subtlety there. Anyway, I don't know why I felt the need to go off on that. But I find that very interesting. And by the way, I agree with the guy who decided he took five of what was 10 postures and he decided to turn them into five elements. And I agree with him. And so I'm happy to hear that you agree with him also. I agree with him just because it feels like the element to me, but you're actually saying that there's some energetic science behind those postures. So that's really good to know. Um, okay, I want to get through all five of the elements superficially. What else can we talk about wood that you think is important in terms of, again,
Yeah.
I just find it so interesting that, the wood, when we start like this, that this actually turns out to be running that same circuit and you're just tapping into the shin and the shin is acting like a nuclear reactor to the element and turning it into something completely more powerful than it normally would be, and then
Yeah.
release it.
I think another wood point we can look at is when you're doing the wood set and you've got this palm out here, the wood point of the heart is right here. So it's a small little piece of real estate, but it's on the end of a lever. If you get with that tendon energy, if you get cracked with that,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel it.
Okay.
Um, Another prominent wood point. You got the wood point of the thumb, excuse me, of the lung near this corner of the nail on the thumb. So again, just in that one with that one palm in the wood set, that's out there whipping around. I want to get to yeah, small intestine channel. Okay. I'll just pull up a graphic real quick and then I'll get out of that. Small intestine 3 right here. So it's right. Let me get out of that. If you make a fist, it's this little hollow right here below that pinky knuckle.
Oh, okay. It was right there.
Yeah. So, if you're boxing, you don't want to back fist with that, just using regular standard human energy because it's not very, you want to go more here, but you're using your tendons, that's a whole different set of rules.
Yeah, whole different. It's interesting because when I make the fist, this finger is very loose, and you can see it really is like, normally like a karate fist is going to be like this, right? Which I find to be very, these guys break their hands all the time thinking that this is good structure. It's not. But what we do is we start with the pinky and we go in like that. And so there's all this concentric energy right here. And this is very loose. So when I come in with a hammer strike at that part right there, that's one of the places I'm going to make, and I don't have to do a lot. I can just come in straight like that.
Yeah.
But it feels like the energy is getting twisted right into that point.
Get that impression.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing too. I've heard from Xingyi guys, they talk about making a fist. They're like, you want to be able to like hold like an egg that's smaller than a chicken egg in your fist and be able to
Yeah, I don't
strike
know.
something with
They
it.
do weird things like I don't know.
Yeah. But
But
I think I
this
think
is
they
like
have,
natural. Like if I was to grab onto a pole, that's how I would do it.
yeah. I think some of these arts have memories of this, but they don't know why anymore.
Well, that was a big thing that, the when we were doing it, if we were getting, corrected, one of the things they say is, just be a natural human. What you're doing isn't natural. Walk naturally, stand naturally, move naturally, just have everything be natural. So, you know, um, but most people don't know how to be a natural human, truth be told.
Yeah.
So, but if you learn how to let your body, we go heel toe, we hold the fist like this, all these things the body would naturally want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So,
Um,
what else do we want to say about wood before moving on?
okay. Real quick, we've got the wood point on the triple energizer. It's on the back of the hand here. So if we
So that's one of the striking points.
yeah, so we're back to wood here. So you've got your two knuckles right here. Just below those, you make a triangle. So you got one point with the ring knuckle, one point with the pinky knuckle, and then just below that between the bones. So it's
Oh,
another wood point.
that makes sense because that's a natural place I would make contact with the wood. Okay, very
And
good.
then I think the other two wood points I'd want to bring up are just on the foot. Let me see. Oh yeah. So these would be involved with the kicking. We've got bladder 65 right here. So basically that is like
Wow.
it's like the you got the pinky knuckle on the side of your foot.
Yeah.
If you follow that knuckle like towards the heel,
Wow.
like your finger falls in a little depression, you're gonna be accessing that wood point.
That's really interesting. I haven't, tightened that screw yet, and I will when we start training in the class and in person. But the wood kicks are actually on the side of the foot. You're not kicking with the toe. You're kicking with that exact point, and you're kind of cutting across like that with the side of the foot. So that's interesting. So again, there's no way that the master would have known that. There's just no way.
Sure.
He didn't know enough about any of this stuff to know. He just was getting channeling the information, and that's how he decided the wood kicks were going to be. Very interesting.
That's neat.
Because the water kicks are totally different than that, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last wood point is oh, kidney one. So when we get into like water,
Yeah.
and we get into earth, and we just sort of start like just doing more of like a standard front kick.
Yep.
So it's kidney one, earth point, wood point on the kidney meridian. This is regarded as one of the energy system's main connections to the energy of the earth.
Yep.
And that the Chinese name means the bubbling well, the
Yep.
Yang Chuan.
Yep.
So
Okay.
pretty neat.
That's good to know. That when you'll be able to take this stuff apart when we work on when next time I see you, we're going to work on the footwork set, and you'll be able
Cool.
to yeah, delve in more deeply to that and bring that to light. Anyway,
Yeah,
okay, are we ready to move on to metal?
certainly.
Okay.
Let me get out of this share here. Let me just fly back up to the top of my notes. This is so heart protector. This is going to be heart protector 5.
Okay, so let's before we do that, um slight review. So the wood, we punch like this and we strike like that mostly. So we've talked about how all that seems to be working. With the metal, we're doing this, and it's this part of the hand that is doing the striking, and then we've got these double daggers, coming up like this or down like this. But the side of the hand here
Yeah.
is where all the magic's happening. So
Yeah.
tell
Let
me,
me,
where's the metal in that?
yeah. So that again, so that contact is being made with your small intestine channel running right down that side. And the heart channel is not far off. If we look at the small intestine, the metal point is it's right here on the pinky nail. So not really, in the meat of the hand there. But it's when I do that movement, it just seems like I'm very aware of it.
Yeah.
It's like, when this thing is making that motion, it's a
Oh,
point
that's
that,
true. Yeah.
I'm pivoting here and I'm very aware of it.
Yeah.
Almost like a tip of a whip.
Yeah.
And well, let's jump to the heart. The hell is that? Come on. That is heart. What is that? 4? 4. Come on. This is heart 4. Yeah. Okay. Quick share. So heart 4. Couple different ways you can find this. It's either so you've got this tendon.
Yeah.
I'm so damn pale you can't see a lot of definition. but you've got this like tendon right here.
Yeah, this guy.
Some people will argue it's like on the inside, whereas some people tell you to needle it on the outside. So no one agrees on anything in Chinese medicine.
But I can see if I'm doing that, if I'm touching the tendon, hopefully I'm touching the right one.
Yeah, that's it. And I
Okay.
like to needle heart points on that side personally.
So when I do that, which we're doing in the metal, I can feel it. You know,
Yeah.
here it's just sort of non-active, and here it's very active. And
Yeah,
where the
absolutely.
strike is happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
The
you
other
like,
hand is actually hitting it as you're doing the yin.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It's like it's coiled and then
Yeah.
it's like closed and opening. It's opening abruptly. Um, so yeah, those are the big metal points involved. Yeah, the lung channel is it's a yin channel more on this side. It's like where you typically feel your wrist pulse.
So is this a yang point then?
Um, the heart and the small intestine are like right on the fine line where yin and yang run together.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So small intestine's yang and then the heart is yin, but it's very close. The full name for the heart channel, it's like they call it the hand channel of heart Xiao Yang. So excuse me, Xiao Yin. Xiao Yin means lesser yin. So because it's near this yang area, it's not especially yin.
Got it. Okay.
The actually the heart protector on the arm, the heart protector would be considered most yin. It's like if you were standing in the sun with your arms at your sides, all this part of your arm is going to be very exposed to the sun. And then right here in the middle on the underside is going to be the most protected from the sun.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas, the heart getting pretty close to where the sun's hitting it. And the lung is a little less exposed, but more exposed than the heart protector. So,
Okay. All right. That's interesting.
yeah. But yeah, let me see the metal point on the let's see, water. Water is 5. What is that? 8. I think it's lung. Yeah, lung 8. Quick visual. Lung 8, it's like right below that wrist crease. So let me show you. So it's almost like if you see my top crease right here, where we take the pulse, it's like maybe a quarter to a half inch below that. You'll feel if you go below that crease, there's like a little notch in the bone, kind of in your wrist bone, and that's that metal point. So, thinking about the forms, yeah, not so much involvement, I don't think.
Well, let's see. When we come here,
But
uh,
it's probably like gathering energy to
yeah, it's coming
support
out.
that.
I mean, you're striking here, but you come in here like that, and you're so that makes sense. Okay. All right. I'm itching to get to fire unless there's
Yeah.
something important.
Last one is with the heart protector meridian. It's about 3 inches in the carpal tunnel. And we're basically like kind of auto stimulating that during the form in the metal.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let's
Okay.
get the fire for sure.
Very good. All right. So you said that this was the fire point.
Yep. So you got a fire point where the middle finger touches and a fire point where the pinky touches. So
Okay.
two fire points on the palm.
So I find that interesting because it's in the wood, we've got fists and in the back here. And then the metal, we've got this side here and we've got this going here. We've got some punches, but they're doing different things. They're coming in like this and they're slicing down like that in the metal. And but the fire, first thing we do is these palms. And so, if I'm demonstrating fire, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to just my instinct is to just drop my palm on somebody's chest so that they can feel the thing explode. So I find that interesting because the set is like this and this, and we're punching, but again, the punches are coming in like this. They're not straight, they're not slicing, they're coming in these roundabout things. And I can feel myself massaging that point as I'm making these punches come in. And then, so the palm is really important in that. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. Another cool fire point. We've got lung 10. So lung 10 is graphic doesn't do it a lot of justice. Basically, the way you'd find it on this like polymer surface of your thumb, you've got this like big thumb bone right here.
Mhm.
You go to the halfway point, and then you roll off the bone onto the soft part, and you feel how kind of tender that is when you dig in.
Yeah.
So that's the fire point of the lung. So I'm thinking about Earth when we're just in the beginning of the set, when we're just bringing this fist down.
Well, and I was actually thinking about again, that's to me, that feels like a
Yeah,
spot that I'm going to strike with my palm.
very much. Very much.
Okay. Okay. And there's, the fire palms like that, you know,
Yeah,
don't hit that posture. You don't do that in any of the other sets. There's just that those palms are there. Okay. That's very,
yeah. And then on some of the let me see. Oh yeah. Quick visual, small intestine 5. So that's on like the blade of the hand. So how you find that? So on the blade of the hand here, if you're on a thick wrist bone and then you're moving towards the pinky finger, you're gonna fall into a depression. More towards like the padding on the side. Go like pull it toward, yeah. That's your fire point right there.
okay. Oh, that makes sense. Because there are punches that come in like this. And so that's exactly where you'd be hitting and striking and scraping along. So it wouldn't just be like a punch, it would be like whether it's their chest or their face, you hit with that point and then you'd scrape along, creating that fire again. So that's what's happening when the fists are coming in and going like that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Let me
very
see.
interesting.
And then the triple heater. Let me see. So the fire point is going to be 6. So triple heater 6. That one is so again, that's on the back of that forearm. So that's probably about roughly 3 inches. So basically, if you go to the back of the forearm, you go like about 3 inches down from the wrist crease in between the bones here.
Like right there.
Yep. So fire point on a fire channel.
Okay. Yeah, and again, you got that opening strike where the palm comes up like that. That's exactly the trajectory of that coming up like that. Up, down, punch. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it looks, you'd think if you didn't know any better, because when we were training, we didn't know, we knew that this was wood. And so they go, okay, so the fire is a lot like wood. You come up here, but, having trained it a lot, it's actually you're coming down and then coming up. And as you're coming up, that's that part that's going to get, as opposed to the wood, which is just very straightforward. You just here and then here. But with the fire, 1, 2, very interesting.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for fire points.
Okay.
On the foot for the kicking, it's basically like it's near the Achilles tendon on the bladder channel, so it's not really.
Oh, there's that one kick where we kick backwards with the heel. Maybe I might
Oh.
not have taught that to you guys yet, but you kick
Oh.
to the side and then you come back and you kick with the heel and kick again. So I'll
Oh.
see. This is why we're going to have to do classes, is because I got to get to
Yeah.
these little things. But that's interesting. You didn't know that, but
Cool.
that's something that we do with that set. Okay,
Oh yeah. So number 60 right here.
very cool. Okay, well,
Cool.
unfortunately, there's this is a longer subject, and I don't have
Yeah.
time to
I
keep
almost
going
made it.
today, but I would love to come back and, if you want to make a series of this, I would love it to
I'm
show.
game.
Okay, very good. And so tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, my I'm in the middle of a brand change, but right now it's lifespringhealing.com. You'll see the El Hajj rune when you go to that site. I've got a YouTube channel too, just my name, Patrick Giguere, Patrick Giguere. I haven't done a whole lot with it. I'll probably get back on this weekend with everything going on in the world to, put my 2 cents in. But yeah.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, I hope you'll show up for more. We
Oh
can.
yeah.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, we all thank you, Patrick
Thank
Giguere,
you.
and I'm looking forward to. Yeah, let's get this technology out to the world.
Yeah, thanks for starting the party.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever.